Hello and welcome to Jam Presents, a podcast series by me, Mike Groves, and a good mate of mine, Jason Cripps. In this fifth series, we're heading to Camp Pleasant as we try to catch a murderer who just so happens to be a campmate in Killer Camp. Killer Camp, episode 5, the final episode. We finally made it to the end in what has been the shortest series that we've covered so far. To be honest, I've actually really enjoyed it. It's not winning any awards, unless there's an award for Best Dick Rocket Death Scene, but it's been a real joy to watch and discuss over the past few weeks. As for the format of this episode, largely the same as the others with no immunity challenge, we'll discuss it as we normally do, but at the end we'll summarise everything rather than doing a bonus episode, unless you want me to arrange a Zoom call between you and Carl at any time soon.
Between me and him?
Yeah.
Fucking you and him?
He won't want to talk to me.
I have to fucking hunt you down.
As if he's
stuff you said about him.
I cut quite a lot of it, to be fair.
Scared, is that what it sounds like?
Yeah. Every time I'm editing, I'm listening back, I'm like, that might be a bit harsh.
Just editing my voice so it sounds like I'm saying it about him.
We're reminded at the start of the episode that 11 campmates arrived at Camp Pleasant, 5 were brutally killed, and that 6 remaining campers are playing to win a share of $15,000. Either they uncover the killer and they share a lump of the money, or the killer walks away with their share. Show Must Go On by Queen is playing in the background as we see all of them declare that they are not the killer, and we hear why they're all suspicious of one another. Jacques calls himself Jax.
I'm Jacques, and I'm not the killer.
So that fucks up everything that we were saying last week when we decided to call him Jacques. Although, question to you, could this be that he's just rolled over and gone, oh, fuck it, if they're calling me Jax.
100%.
100%. My name now.
I think he's gone in there and thought, like, they're going to call me Jax because they're quite simple. Some of them are quite simple. It's too much to ask. There's a lot going on anyway. People being murdered. You know, if I'm getting a bit touchy over my French name, then...
He's even put on that voice. He is actually French. He's like, Zut alors, they just don't think I am, so... He's changed his accent for the show.
Because if you had a name like that, I mean, personally, I'd be pushing it all the time. Would you?
Yeah, correcting people. No, it's Jacques.
Can you say it normally? Is it?
I don't know how to say it normally. Like Jacques.
That's better. Jacques.
Yeah, you've got the French twang going on. At the very start, Sean says, "I'll kill him if Carl were the killer," in her, northern accent.
Well, that makes her the killer.
She's threatening to kill.
Yeah.
I love that Bobby gets a go at saying, I have no idea who the killer is. And then seconds later, Bruce pops up. We got the first jump scare of the series as the camera pans round. Because we've got them all saying, I'm Sean and I am not the killer. And they're all saying it. And then Bobby's going, I have no idea who the killer is. And then, poof, straight on your screen, you got Bruce popping up out of nowhere. Fuck me up, that did.
My name's Bobby, and I have no idea who the killer is.
Oh, and it's definitely bandages on his face. I know we had the
duct tape.
We wondered whether it was duct tape or bandages, but I think it, quite clearly is bandages. So, which makes sense, if you are getting burnt. Then
I need more Bruce lore, I think.
Yeah, maybe we get that in series 2, which is actually airing right now.
I highly doubt it, but
We next hear that. I mean, this episode, it didn't let down with the soundtrack. We hear the specials. Ghost Town.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the episode we learn who the killer is, or the second killer is. They all express how gutted they are that Rosie is gone, and Jax. Can I call him that now? Is that fair?
No.
Jacques is fairly devastated. Carl tells Sean that despite knowing her for 5 days, it feels like 5 years. I sicked in my mouth a little bit there.
What, just then? Or at the time?
At the time.
Every time you think of it. But Sean and Carl are sharing a bed as well, aren't they?
Oh, they got the double, have they?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
My mind just goes into like a haze when they're on the screen. I just zone out. I'm like, oh, God. Here we go. Sean tells us in the diary room that she 100% HP trusts him.
I do really like him. I 100% HP trust him.
Yeah, is this Sauce or Potter? I don't really get it. I even wrote that down. I HP trust him. Did she say something like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, fuck.
Like totally Harry Potter trust him.
Thinking, is there like a proper slang word for this? Like proper Gryffindor. You know? Thinking HP, like, it's HP sauce as well, isn't it? That's
There
brown.
is
It's like brown sauce.
Brown sauce, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what? Like red sauce is ketchup. Brown sauce is like just all this shit that
Shit.
people put in a bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, it tastes alright on a bacon
Fucking hell.
sandwich, but what the fuck is it?
This is the reason we don't go on stuff, because my comments like that. It really confused me. Why did you say, 100% trust him? Why 100 trust him? I HP.
Yeah, 100% HP.
Did you know that straight away?
No, I wrote it down.
You Googled it, didn't you?
No, I didn't Google it. I wrote it down. The HP, but 100%, you know. But then it's like the other day, million percent, milli.
And that makes sense, Millie.
Yeah, but so does HP, 100%.
Obviously it doesn't.
Do you know what
The
annoys
fact
me?
I wrote sauce or Potter.
You know when people use that 100 emoji as
Yeah.
100%, but there's no percent after it. It just says 100.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that means 100%. No, it doesn't. It just says 100. It annoys me. You should put a percentage afterwards. Because otherwise it just means 100.
They should just make that the 100% emoji. Just add a percentage sign to it.
Just add
No
it.
one uses that for anything else.
No. Just add a percentage. Agreed. So if you're listening, Apple,
Who's listening from Apple? Like,
Wozniak,
true. He is a big fan of the show.
big fan of Killer Camp.
Moving on then, after my HP, which I'm going to weave into everyday like conversation now.
Oh, HP, mate, HP. Carl
Harry
drops in a, what if it turns out you're the killer, to Sian, and what would you do if it was me? And Sian says she'd be fuming. Holly suggests that either one of them could be sleeping with the enemy, and then we see Jax in the bathroom as Bruce pops his head up to the window.
You know, and I thought this was going to be more of a thing. Like,
That
I
should have been
love
throughout the series.
throughout
right?
the series, and I just want to see a little bit longer of stuff like that. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Because he doesn't know that he's there. Like,
No,
doesn't know.
they
Shits
need to be
himself.
proper, like, knackered and tortured. Not tortured, but like, you know.
Yeah, worried about going to bed at night because they don't know what time they're going to be woken up by
Mm.
the sound of banging or something like that. Although
Yeah.
that's Sian and Carl in the next bed.
Opposite them, like 3 foot away.
Lots of talk again about Sam, and we can see early on that he's going to be the one that they all choose. Rewatching, as I wrote this up, because I watched it twice,
I feel sorry for you sometimes.
the murder game was the hardest. That was horrible watching that twice.
If your fingertips are not red, raw and bleeding, you haven't done the job right.
So yeah, rewatching it, Carl was quite obvious at times how he responded to clues, how he always had we mentioned it in earlier episodes, how he's always got a reaction to everything, and especially how he performed on some of the tasks today, like with the cash challenge, which was the Last Supper. And then obviously they all got given different foods to eat in strange ways. And Jack said this is bad news since eating is his favourite hobby and they're about to ruin it for him. I'm the same, mate. I love eating. And as soon as someone does something you're not into, oh no, please don't. But the first dish is hot dogs, and Jacques and Carl take this on. And their twist is so lame. No hands. All they got to do is feed each other.
Yeah,
Carl's saying he gets weird if he's
Yeah.
eating from someone
Come
else's
on.
hand.
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
We know it's bullshit, but even that's just, come on.
Yeah, and it was so obvious at that point because it's for money. At the end of the day, like, yeah, you might not, even if you don't like it deep
Yeah.
down, this isn't a bush tucker trial.
No,
Just fucking
it's
get
hot
over it,
dogs.
mate.
It's hot dogs.
Yeah.
From someone else's hand. I'd eat it from fucking the ass crack if it meant money. I probably have done in the past. You know what I mean?
That's a normal Friday night out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you get your kebabs for free.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. But Jacques, he pretty much inhales it. Fair play to the lad.
Absolutely nails it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be like. Just breathe in. Don't eat. just fly into his mouth. Does a vacuum.
Like Kirby.
Yeah.
When Carl only ate one of his too, and Jack says he's probably not eaten sausage like that before. This episode was fantastic.
Carl probably didn't do that well. I don't know if he's been fed sausage like that before.
They had the easiest dish. The next one was absolutely disgusting. It was onions blended with some type of milk. It must have been oat milk or something because Sam's vegan, isn't he? So he's not going to be happy putting cow milk in his mouth.
Blended onions is fine though.
I would fail at this, mate. Sam and Eleanor, credit to them, absolutely kill it. Absolutely kill it. And they do far better than I. Like, yeah, it's for money. But blended onions.
Yeah, this is something that I want to sort of try. not in a, oh, this is going to be nice. But, like, it looks disgusting.
Yeah.
But how disgusting is it, you know? Like, onion, I like onion. I don't know if I like blended onion.
I mean... Oh, I know. I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? It's not
cut
like
up an onion on a sandwich or something.
You know
like
when
that,
you see like
or in a salad.
I mean, I don't watch it. You watch it because you fucking love it. But I'm a Celebrity.
I love it.
When I'm going to blend up all these beetles. Like, fair play. That's gonna be gross. But just a blended onion.
I agree. On I'm a Celebrity, they blend up animals and they're like, "Oh, this is a pig's anus smoothie," and you're like, "That's fucking disgusting." But then when you get one that is like, "Oh, this is a fermented." Fruit or some fermented plum, and you're like, well, that's just a gone off fruit, you know. That's not the end of the world. I happily ingest it. I don't mind blended raw onion going into my body compared to, like you say, blended up animals and shit.
As long
like
as it's
that.
soy milk.
Yeah, well, I can't really handle milk that well. yeah.
Onion's fine.
I'd have been worse
Not
than
cow's
Sean,
milk.
mate. I'd have been in the bathroom far more than Sean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I see what you're saying. It's but they smashed it, and I think again for money, you're just going to give it all, aren't you?
It's good.
Carl suggests that Sam's only smashing it because it's the last day. Again, you could just tell he was talking shit, and I know that's easier to say. You know, how did you? That's what I was going to ask. How did you watch the episode? At what point? Because we went into the last episode, you saying Sean, me saying Carl, and we both had that. Hopefully, it's one of them. Yeah. Were there tells in this episode as you were going through thinking
hot dog straight away? Hot dog,
yeah.
Because the size of him, like you said, even if you're funny about eating out of someone's hand, it's for money. But because of the size of him, he needs to take on those calories. Like, you know, he can eat. The guy can eat.
And if Jacques only holding the very edge at the very end, just the tip, then Carl can take all the rest of it. Surely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as he wasn't, you could see that he wasn't going 100%.
Wasn't going HP.
Wasn't going Potter on it, was he? So, yeah. From then on.
Yeah.
This next one's quite good.
Yeah. So, mate, it looks lovely. Apple and plum pie. But then they mix it with hot sauce. And to be honest, I don't mind it. Like, over a blended onion, I'd rather have hot sauce on pudding.
Yeah, when you think of it, blended onion, gross. Hot sauce on apple pie, whatever it is, it's not going to be a good experience.
No, but hot sauce, nice. Apple pie, nice.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not onion. It's not fucking raw onion blended.
But also, it's not just eating a hot dog out of someone else's hand.
Oh, it's so easy.
You know, I don't know. That first one was so weak.
But it was almost like they tailored it for...
Because if that was me and you, granted we know each other, but if I'm picking 2 hot dogs up at a time and shoving them in your mouth.
Yeah, you do that within... honestly, I think you can do that
until you're
less
struggling to breathe.
One up my nose.
Yeah.
I can get it down, yeah.
Yeah, just crushing it with my fist to stuff it in.
Asking if you can borrow the blender.
Just blending on hot dogs. Yeah.
But obviously, Sean and Han was the other killer. Sean and Holly took the dish on, and I suspected Sean again because she was really, really struggling. She was really struggling. But then again, if you're not used to eating hot dishes, like I think we'd be fine because then the chili sauce on
was the
everything.
pie hot, like temperature-wise?
So they've got like 3rd-degree burns in their
microwaved it for like 10 minutes. It's like that Alan Partridge.
Molten jam, yeah.
The contents of this is hotter than the sun. It's like, so not only is it like nuked, they've also put like Frank's hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie! How long did you put this in for then? It's hotter than the sun.
But to be fair, although I did suspect Sean at this point, it was still a lot harder than hot dogs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They only eat one slice each, but still earned $600.
It's quite like I know we're like staying on this eating thing far too long, but that pie, it was like a substantial bit of pie. I'm saying again, hot dogs, they're just going down, aren't they? Hot dogs, even with the buns with bread, but pie is quite filling.
Mate, even if it didn't have the hot sauce, if they're like 3 minutes to eat three fucking big slices as well.
Yeah,
it was a big ask without the hot sauce.
Yeah,
I agree. 3 hot dogs, piss it.
There was a point.
That's what I'm having for lunch today. In fact, I'm going to this barbecue shack shortly. Shout out to. Don't actually know what the place is called.
Oh god, that's brilliant, isn't it? Sponsored by a place we don't even know.
Sponsored, I wish. It's going to cost me about £9.
When you order it, you ordering hot dogs, but they have to feed them to you.
I'll be like, mate, I don't like it. If you're holding it, I can't.
It's the only way I get off. Is that a new subcategory, like a kink? No.
Yeah, this is Salt Bay's new place. This is what he's. This is what he's doing.
He feeds you the hot dog.
He feeds you. Yeah.
Does he hold it like this?
Yeah, the sausage rolls down his arm into my mouth.
He's on your knees like a dog.
Oh, and the bill comes in, I'm bankrupt.
It's like a grand dog. Oh shit. Anyway, I think they're talking after this part.
Yeah.
And Shan runs off to be sick.
Yeah.
And I did think, oh shit, is that like a tactical sick? Like not the fact that she feels sick, but a way to get out of the conversation.
Ooh, yeah,
I don't think it was
I mean, yeah, it wasn't the fact that she's.
But the point I think is because they were talking about the killer and stuff. I think they're talking about the killer or something like that, and she runs off to be sick. And I was thinking, no, that's a good way of diverting the attention somewhere else. So.
It definitely would have been, and I think if it turned out she was the killer, we could have probably assumed that she was over to get intel or just wanted to get out of the conversation. To be fair, it really fucked her up. She was ruined for the rest of the day. She wasn't well at all. What I don't understand, so yeah, they end the challenge. They've got almost 50-50 split. The campers have got $7,550 and the killer's got $7,450 in the prize pots. And as you mentioned, Sean's thrown up. They're all having the conversation. Sam, for some reason, insists on saying, I did loads there to take off the heat.
I've sort of done a good bit there to try and take a bit of heat off me,
No, by saying that makes you look suspicious, mate.
Is that his game plan? If everyone thinks I'm the killer, then I'm not the killer. That's not how it works.
I'm just gonna keep telling people, I did loads to take the heat off me there. Well, you're telling us
last night
that you're taking the heat off yourself by performing better in tasks. So people are gonna think you're doing that on purpose. Why are you fucking saying that?
Yeah, you should be given 100% all the time.
He didn't help himself there at all. They talk about how Carl is sus because he didn't eat many hot dogs, but this still isn't enough to convince them later in the episode. And meanwhile, Sean starts gipping again. It's so funny just watching it.
Gipping?
Yeah, I learned that word the other day, mate. Gipping.
What's that mean?
It means, you know, when you...
Retching?
Yeah, basically. We next see Carl telling Eleanor that Sam is part of the Mile High Club.
That would confirmed it in my head, like, bam, yeah, it's Carl, 100%.
That he's spreading, especially when...
We knew that we knew that Sam didn't.
And Sam didn't confirm that.
He didn't 100%.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. That sort of thing.
And we know he did because look at the size of him. Look at bathrooms on our place.
Also, Carl uses the word bantering.
Yeah, we was like sort of bantering. Yeah. And then he.
Oh, fuck off! I hate the word anyway.
It's like that. Steve Buscemi, like when he's got his skateboard. It's like, hello, fellow kids.
Yeah. Carl's now like, that's 17 again.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, we were just bantering. Oh.
So Cole is always trying to push Sam.
Yeah, throughout.
Any opportunity.
Yeah.
Any opportunity that Sam comes up in conversation, it's to do with the fact that he's the killer. So you knew Cole's intentions were.
And the way he does it, oh, do you not think that's a bit suspicious? They all just fucking fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway, next they play their final game on the lake to win clues to the killer's identity. First thing we see is Bobby with his tiny megaphone sat in the Swan Pedalo, and Carl and Jack's doing some silly dance trying to lift the spirits of Sean, who does definitely not want to be there. The aim of this challenge is to steal 5 flags from each other's base and to take them back to their own base whilst being knocked into the water by blockers, in this case Sam and Jack's.
It's capture the flag, basically, isn't it?
Exactly that. And there's 5 flags in total.
Yeah.
Now you have to tell me if anything good happened in this section, because the dodgy download that I had, because I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch it with adverts.
Oh,
so
ITV's going to be on to you.
I've got no excuse.
The excuse
Anyway,
is the app's shit and I don't want to watch fucking 30 minutes of adverts.
And it comes up saying, want to watch this ad free? And you click yes, and it says $3.99 a month. I'm not paying $3.99 a month for ITV. Fuck off. Although I take that back, if ITV ever want to sponsor us or give us any sort of
cut this out.
baseball hats or anything like that.
Oh yeah, because all the ITV baseball hats you see going around.
Yeah, like Funhouse merch, like back in the day. That people didn't have for going on Funhouse. You could just get it in fucking shops.
I wonder what they did with all that stuff.
What is that?
In the
challenge
archive
for 2022. We're going to try and find all the old
raid ITV's archives.
Yeah, see if they've got any pencil cases that we can get. But anyway, the it was a bit scrambled, this section, and all I really got to see was some of them getting pummeled into the water. Eleanor mentioned dangerous voodoo wood and the blue team winning the game and therefore getting the clues. Is that about it in summary?
Pretty much, yeah. Like Jacques, we've said before, I think that these floating platforms aren't the best generally. Like you have to hit them in such a sweet point. No wonder Sean hurt a leg in one of them.
Yeah.
I feel bad because Jacques, his center of gravity isn't the best, and this game just exposes it massively. Because not only he has to balance on it, he has to move toward. It's just not happening. But yeah, no, that's about it.
And he's got Sam chasing him down as well.
Yeah. But yeah, dangerous voodoo wood.
Yeah.
It's only wood, but it's some type of dangerous voodoo word.
Okay. Fucking voodoo word. Of all the things.
Just slippery wood.
Yeah.
You got slippery wood, haven't
you? For you.
Fucking hell.
So Eleanor, Holly and Sam go and get their final clues. And it's so harsh on Sam and completely done on purpose, I'm sure. He was given the clue that the killer goes to the gym 5 times a week. And he says it himself. It would have been so much better.
That's so fucking sad.
And that's it. It would have been so much better if the others had got that clue.
Because it was like, if we say about gamesmanship or whatever you want to call it, it needs to be a fair fight.
This was the most unfair thing that happened in the entire series.
Yeah, because on the other shows we said about confirmation bias and the fact that he's going to them saying that, it's like they already think it's him anyway, and this just sort of consolidates it even further, which I do think has an impact on the end.
It does, without a doubt, because they all think he's a liar. Now, if someone else had got that clue, it would have made it too obvious that Carl was the killer. So either way, Carl or Sam in this episode in particular were absolutely fucked. There's no other way.
Yeah, because Carl blatantly goes to the gym, where Sam, he's built, but he's not in the gym every fucking morning.
No, and if Warren was still in, then you'd say, oh, still could be, couldn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and at one point I did think, oh, maybe it could be Sean. Do you know what I mean? I still at this point thought it was Carl, but I thought, from what I said before, having a female killer, and you thought the fact that you've got Sam who's quite big, you've got Carl that's big, by saying, oh, they go to the gym 5 times a week, you think, oh, well, look at the fucking muscles. Well, it's not about the muscles.
No, Sean, Eleanor, or Holly could stay fit and go to the gym 5 times a week.
Because Holly could easily be running fucking 10k a day or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the clues, you're going to have to correct me, I don't know who actually got it, was about the spiders.
Yeah, that was Holly that got the clue.
And the funny thing about that is when Carl
comes to sit down,
Sam does the worst acting, saying that there's a spider.
They just look at him like, you're a fucking idiot, mate.
Yeah. He had the best intentions. I fully appreciate that. But the way he sold it was awful. It's like he thought, right, I've got a good idea. I'll try and set Carl up with a spider. But instead of just biding his time and waiting for the perfect moment, he just couldn't help himself. He just said it straight away.
Is that a spider on there pointing at an empty bench?
Yeah.
And then 10 seconds later, they're telling him the clue about spiders. He's like, "Oh, is that
why you did it?" He's like, "Fuck." You could have waited. You could have waited till he's like proper relaxed in bed or something, and then tried it. You know, when he's off guard, not when he's walking towards you outside where there could probably be spiders.
But also, it's that, like, afraid of spiders. That's where, when you go into a place like this, they're going to say, "Have you got any fears?" and all that sort of thing. But 90% of people probably somewhat afraid of spiders. They tick off on a list of things. Yeah, I don't particularly like them. So, but when people say, "Oh, there's a spider," if it's somewhere where you're walking, as long as it's not in your hair, what you should have done is that a spider in your hair, mate? That would have been the real fucking test.
Or my shoulder
not
or something
in front of you where you can see and there's clearly absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, or you can run away.
You're like, "No, mate, there's not a spider."
If there's a shot of them on the bench and you don't Photoshop in a massive tarantula next to Carl, sat next to him.
You say this as though I'm going to put in some.
I say this like
time.
Like
we're not doing this live anymore.
Like you're
so
a massive
really difficult.
like you're a massive Photoshop nerd.
I don't even know how to use it. I use Paint.
Yeah, that's the poor man's Photoshop. That's what I mean.
Yeah, true. Anyway, yeah, the other clue then is about Carl. Oh no, about the killer. Sorry, spoiler alert. The killer lying about their job, and they have a discussion as to whether or not he's a PT or a car salesman. Did you question what a PT was? Did you think it was like a Phil Tufnell or anything like that? Like HP earlier on.
I knew it was a personal trainer. Thank you.
Anyway, none of them think it's him. So, yeah, the clue is completely worthless. Before the campfire, we get a little song from Bobby that I'll cut the audio in. I'm not going to sing it. It's something along the lines of Fergal's deceased. He's eaten by fishies. And we get to see all the murders again, don't we? A little montage, yeah.
Warren's gone. Lost his eye to a schlong.
And this is the moment that we've been waiting for. And yet we are only halfway through the episode. Fuck me, they're going to drag this ending out quite a bit, aren't they? And what did we know going into this bit? I was 100% convinced that it was Carl, as I just knew it wasn't going to be Sam. And with Sam's clue, knowing that that was going to be a truth, or knowing that it wasn't Sam because of the clues earlier in the episode, where he'd said stuff that they were trying to contradict, but it was Sam saying it, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah, but also, like, it's such a weird fact that also he knows that points to him as well. Like, potentially could point to him.
True.
That's like me getting one and being like, the person's over 6 foot, and I'm like, fucking hell, that narrows it down so much. And I'm over 6 foot. Why would I say it? Why would I say it to? If anything, I'd be like, the person's under 6 foot. If I was lying about it,
yeah, you would lie completely. Why would you?
Because it would point to me anyway, you know.
Yeah,
that's why I think we're going back to the fact that I think that clue was massively unfair for him to read out.
Yeah, it was.
But anyway, moving on from that.
Bobby turns up with 2 bags of cash. I honestly don't know why. He goes, "I've got 2 bags of cash here.
Yeah.
Campers, 7,550. Killer, 7,450. Why not just take 1 bag of cash and an extra $100 and then put that into the bag if the campers win it and take it out if the killer wins?"
Dramatic effect.
Yes, exactly.
But I thought that he's going to chuck 1 bag on the fire at one point.
Ooh, that would have been good.
Imagine that, being like, "Oh no, killer gets this. Money's on the fire."
Yep.
Because the money's still there, isn't it? That's what you're saying. The money's still there.
Yeah, he's still got a big bag of cash. Maybe that's Bobby and Bruce's to split between them.
Maybe. Yeah. Get some more bandages.
I mean, they wasted a lot more money than burning it. They should have just done that at the end, shouldn't
they?
Yeah. It would have been good if the campmates could share the full 15 grand if the killer is caught. Since the 7 grand between them is rubbish, and then maybe the killer only takes their share. I think that'd be fairer. So the killer is fighting for money, but the campers are just fighting to find out who the killer is. And then they take a share because then they can win 3 grand each.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at the moment, I don't even know what 7 divided by 5 is, but
fuck all. That's what it is. So.
Anyway, when Carl is reflecting on the previous clues, he says they all fit Sam, and then they show a clip of him saying the killer likes to play poker. That was a made-up clue. Production error there, I think, because they go back over the clues, and that's one he made up.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Because that's the one with Sam's like got like a
spade tattoo or something
on his eye.
That was a good moment, actually, to be fair. That was a really funny moment. He's still harping on about going to the gym 5 times a week, and Sam is absolutely adamant he's not the killer and says that he's going to be gutted when they all vote for him incorrectly and lose the money. Because it must have been horrible for Sam, because he sat there knowing.
You can see it. You can see it.
You've all
happening.
literally fucked this up completely.
Do you know what they should have done, maybe, in hindsight? I don't think they did do it. Gone one by one and had like 30 seconds of saying why I'm not the killer.
Yes, yeah, they should.
Because Sam, like if you know you're not the killer, even Sam could have put something over. Carl though, he's articulate as a fucking brick, you know. So I think that would have exposed him.
Yeah, and that's exactly. So he claimed that today's performance was off because Sean was unwell. And it's like pure shit, mate. And then Sam Fairplay calls him out and says, well, the hot dogs task was before Sean got ill. And then Carl comes back by saying he was uncomfortable eating out of someone else's hand. And you put it to one side if it's for the money. And I think that's where you say, if you had 30 seconds to convey yourself, you could say, look, the clue, I'm not lying about the clue. You can believe me or not, but take the hot dog, just take that, isolate that hot dog chat.
That's it. If you had 30 seconds to say why I'm innocent or why someone else is guilty.
For every one of those hot dogs was worth what, like $300 or something like that?
Mate, I'd have them in every fucking orifice.
If so, every fucking... Jesus Christ. Do you want me to Photoshop? Anyway, we've talked about it enough. It did piss us both off, but they've all just been proper blindsided. And even Sean says that Carl can't have lied to her for 5 days solid. Amazing. And that just tees it up for the perfect ending, really. They now cast their vote, or at least write their votes on their chalkboards. And Sam chooses Carl. All the rest of them choose Sam.
I've already put, like, it's not Sam. 100% not Sam.
Yeah. And it feels like they all thought, even if it was Carl, that he's not clever enough to pull it off. Yeah. And I think that might have also fooled them into thinking that it can't be him.
Yeah, and this is why I thought they should have had some sort of, not court system, but like one last chance. Because Carl, because he's the killer, has actively been whispering around in people's ears.
Yeah.
Where Sam hasn't, because he's not the killer. And he is, you know what I mean? And he hasn't really pushed his innocence.
He's not done anything.
No,
yeah.
Because he's just like, I don't need to really, you know, say that I'm innocent to people individually for the last X amount of hours today, you know.
I question whether or not Jacques understands the program, and he says that he doesn't think
he is French, so he might not. Very well.
He says he doesn't think anyone other than Sam could have had a reason to kill Rosie. Like, you don't need a reason to kill Rosie. It's a game. Like, you've got to
She's
pick
not
someone.
Actually dead.
Exactly. And like, well,
we don't see him at the end, do we?
No, we don't. It's not like Whodunit where we get them talking to us at the end and they're saying, I didn't really die. Every time that Sam gets voted for, you can see him internally scream, and he's just thinking, you fucking idiots.
Man. Yeah. I've even put, and this is exactly what I've put on my notes, Holly won't pick Sam. Oh fuck, she did.
Yeah, because she actually words it, doesn't she? She goes into like gameplay. She's like, oh, because of what I've been thinking over the last few days and about how the games have been played, I was convinced she was going for Carl. I was absolutely certain that she was going for Carl.
Same.
And even though he still wouldn't have got enough votes,
I would have felt better. I would have felt better that someone actually trusted him.
And Holly could have gone, yeah, I was right. But only Sam at the end had that real sort of sense of victory, because even though he lost, he got it right. Carl then reveals that he had also voted for Sam, but it didn't really matter because Sam already had enough votes to, you know, cast him out as the killer. When asked if he is the killer, he tells them he isn't, and they are absolutely devastated. Knowing this now, they must all clock that if Sam's no longer the killer, so that clue about going to the gym 5 times a week is true, they have to put 2 and 2 together.
Well, this is it. And I said, I wrote down that, like, it's no fault of Sam, but he was far too open, and that gym clue, it ruined him.
Yeah,
he was far too open. Like I said before, if that was me, I'd just make something nice up.
Yeah, change that so it doesn't look like you're trying to
just even make it up to put it on someone else. Put it on someone else. Say, oh, I'm a PT or a car salesman. Like selling cars.
Now you want to make it as generic as anything, as though you're not lying. You know, I think the penny drops because when you see Sean crying, Carl goes to like wipe her nose for her or something like that, and she backs off. She's like moves away, and I think she can tell at that point, fuck, I think it now is Carl, especially as Sam's been so adamant that it's Carl. Bobby asks the killer to reveal themselves, and there's a clever cut because you think Jacques is about to open his mouth, and then Carl says, no, it's me. And Sean and Jacques look absolutely broken. Holly and Eleanor give him so much shit. Yeah. And Bobby's face is a picture. He's looking so smug. It's brilliant.
It said Holly and Eleanor are absolutely killing it. I'm sure Holly or Eleanor just says like "fuck off" or something.
One of them goes "fuck you," and the other one goes "you slimy prick" or "you sneaky" or something. It's
because obviously
brilliant.
we only see a certain amount, don't we? Like we said
Yeah.
before, we only see a certain amount, and I've seen sort of behind the scenes photos when they just hang out between shot shoots, and there's a lot of things we don't see and a lot of probably talking we don't see.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not just the conversations we see on film. Like
they spent every night together for 5 nights. They've cooked together. They've eaten together.
Exactly. That's not just what we see. There's a lot of conversations happening in the background that he's persuading them he's not the killer.
You are so fucking fake.
You're a dick.
We all trusted you.
Oh,
I've referred to you as like a father figure, and you're sat there so smug because you're like 7 grand richer. And like, good for you. You have deceived us all.
Sean says she should have seen it coming, and all Jacques can say is, "Good game."
Yeah, and that, like, to be fair play to Jacques, he knows he's been done.
Yeah, and he does say, he does admit, doesn't he, that he should have given Sam more time to explain himself.
Yeah.
And I think that was everyone's mistake. They just put their faith into Billy Big Bollocks instead of listening to anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. But that whole Sean thing we said before, like, gave him such a disguise.
Yeah.
Innit?
Yeah, because he can convince the one person that he's...
And she can do bits for him as well then. Because she can talk to the others.
And go, no, I trust him. HP, I trust him.
Yeah.
Carl reveals what he did to sabotage stuff, which included taking the weight.
Yeah, which
on purpose.
Was that really a sabotage? I honestly thought he was just done.
Maybe afterwards he's like, I better tell people that was a that was a towel. Not eating the hot dogs, lying about the killer's first car, and saying that the killer loved animals. He actually loves Avril Lavigne. He's a car dealer and not a PT, and he has had sex on a balcony. Eleanor says she won't follow him on Instagram as a result of his betrayal. I mean, it's her loss. He's got these mad veneers now, so his smile lights up the sky. Why wouldn't you want to see that along with him begging for money for cars? You know, it's your loss, Eleanor, I'm afraid.
He's such a smug prick, isn't he?
Yeah. And look, he says he hated killing Rosie. I wouldn't. Again, you're on a game show to win $7,000. I'd throw anyone under the bus. If it was me against you, mate, in the final, you're going to go against each other. You're winning $7,000.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I'll jump under the bus, mate, because I know I'm getting 3.5 of that.
Carl says that he was likable and that's why people didn't think it was him. He also says to lie to this one when he's pointing at Sean.
To lie to this one was the hardest thing that I've had to do all week.
This one?
What? The cat's mother, mate. You've been seeing her for 5 days and you say this one as though she's your fucking pet.
That's the thing, you don't know what they've done. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, man. No, exactly.
He's shagging her behind the fucking cabin. Bruce is there with his little binoculars. You know?
Sean's upset because she's been lied to. I mean, she's only been lied to about the killing part, really. Although she does say that the relationship is now dead, which I thought was excellent. At least at the end, they do apologise to Sam, which is a nice moment. Mm-hmm. And Carl takes his duffel bag and $7,500. Tina Turner plays him out and Bobby gets hysterical. Carl suggests it's not about the money, but about the winning. I mean, for me, it's about the money. I don't care which side I'm on. If I'm getting the $7,500 at the end of it, it doesn't matter. But I guess the only way you're getting the money is to win. So.
I wanted Bruce to come and sit down.
Oh, can you imagine?
Because everyone leaves and it's just Carl sat there.
Yeah.
And I'd love to Bruce to come and sat down next to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, as he's been controlling him, you know? Yeah, he's his little robot. All of the others walk away. And
the robot? That more lore.
That's why he's got. Yeah, that's why he's got that red button. It's
that's not a red button. That's part of his hand.
It's got go gadget. Yeah. All of the others walk away and leave him by the campfire with Bobby. Carl's now on his own. Credit to him. He says the others took it too seriously. It's just a game, and it doesn't mean they can't be friends. And to be fair, he's totally right. He played it exactly as the game should have been played, even if he is a bit smug. We hear one of the slowest Christmas #1s ever released. Mad World. Is it Gary Jules and someone else? I can't remember.
Tears for Fears did it, didn't they?
They did originally, yeah. Maybe it's the Tears for Fears version. I'm not sure, actually.
You know what they should have done? What song? Like, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Bruce enters and stands behind Bobby at the fire, and we see clips of the last 5 days and in a slow montage. Bobby then tells the final scary story about the campers leaving Camp Pleasant for good. We see them in the back of the truck. Bobby tells Bruce that they can't actually let them leave. The remote detonator is triggered by Bruce, and the credits roll.
Do you think when he presses that, like a boat blows up at the same time and the dick rocket fires? It's just one. It's connected to all.
So And to the credits at the end. So
Yeah.
the credits roll. So 5 times actually the Dick Rocket.
So you've connected
was
it all to
detonated.
everything. Yeah. I would have preferred Bobby speaking, right? Saying, "Oh, we can't let him get away, whatever."
Mm.
And then you see him in the back of the truck, and then it zooms round, and Bruce is driving it.
Yeah, better ending.
Because who's driving that truck? See?
No, much better ending.
Get me on board. Get me on board. I can give you endings.
There are a few things to discuss at the end, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not going to do a bonus episode. We're going to draw a line in this season. We'll do a season 2 at some point, I think, but not going to promise when that is because we keep promising a bonus episode for Who Done It, and I don't know if I can be bothered. We were sent a tweet the other day, and I need to call the person out for it. SJ on Twitter challenged us and said, "Thought you guys might have clocked that Carl is Katie Price's fiance and also formerly of brief Love Island fame." Now, I'm not sure what kind of a picture me and you are painting here at Jam Presents, but Love Island and Katie Price
I actively
aren't
try and avoid
something
both.
that I include up on. I thought you might have realised, mate. You're not in Katie Price's, inbox all the time.
DMs?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in their inbox, I think, mate. But
Fuck's sake.
I'm not one of them.
It's no. I'm afraid I didn't recognise. I think I could walk past someone in the street and not recognise them from Love Island.
I could probably walk past him in the street and not recognise.
No, you would, because his teeth are so white now, mate. So white.
Get like snow
Shout out
blind.
to whoever the teeth whiteness are.
Yeah.
It's like fucking headlights.
So is this post Killer Camp then? Did Katie Price watch Killer Camp? Like, I've got nothing against Katie Price.
No. Yeah, no, same. Like, I think maybe there are a few things that you might disagree with, because I think when I got this tweet and I searched about her, she's in court for drink driving at the moment, which we do not condone. There's shit like that, but in terms of no, we're not going to sit here and hate on her. But yeah, this is post, as in she's with him now.
So is she? So she watched Killer Camp and thought, yeah, what about that?
I think maybe if he's formerly of Love Island fame, perhaps after
Oh,
Killer
yeah,
Camp, ITV went, "Oh, you'd be good on Love Island," and then he's since become more famous, and then Katie Price has got in there. More likely, she's watched Love Island and picked someone off that. It's like a menu, isn't it?
Than watching Killer Camp and picking someone off
Killer
that.
Camp. Yeah, although we could look at the history of Katie Price's exes, and Warren might be in there, or
True.
Bruce,
Peter Andre.
Peter Andre. Yeah, maybe he is Bruce.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I love that guy.
I love Peter Andre. I really like Peter Andre. To be fair,
He can do no wrong. Even when he does wrong, he does it right. So,
are you happy with the ending?
in what way?
So we agree the end credits coming down as Bruce pressed the button could have been improved by
Oh yeah, definitely.
Bruce driving.
Yeah, that's fine.
In terms of Carl winning, I'm gutted that it's Carl.
Yeah.
But what I would say, credit to him, because he played it perfectly.
Yeah. I think, I know, it sounds bad. I think he just played it himself.
Yeah,
I think he honestly is one of these people that walks in a room and thinks, I'm better than everybody.
He's the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Do we think then that they always intended for there to be 2 killers?
Yes.
Because the clue about Avril Lavigne would suggest that was the case.
Yeah.
But what if that was like linked to Rob and they just got Carl to say that about him?
100% there's 2 killers. I honestly thought that they might have, been a bit premature and then thought, oh, shit, we need a second killer.
Yeah.
But the way that Carl is, I definitely think he's been a killer from the start. Just because he's just so arrogant.
The only question I have, in episode 3, Carl votes for Rob when they're voting who they think is the killer.
That doesn't mean they don't know there's 2. Or he knows there's 2, but he doesn't know who it is.
Good point. Yeah, really good point. And they're playing against each other.
Well, yeah, or you could say, right, there is another killer, Carl. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, and you just play the game.
Because you got to play the game, because at the end, could there be 2 killers? Potentially.
Yeah, if they hadn't got Rob.
So would they have split it?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any teamwork with the killers. I don't think they would know who each other were.
No, it's like you say, we would probably take the heat off.
And also, if I was going to, I'd happily try and throw someone under the bus again. If I didn't know you were the killer, but I knew there was a second killer.
Yeah, and it all led to pointing at Rob.
Yeah, you'd just be like, right, take the shots, so I'm a bit in the clear a bit.
Yeah,
good especially point. by him voting for him as well. So
I wish we knew at the end which clues related to each of the killers. Could Carl be the stamp collecting taxidermist astronaut? Or is that all Rob?
It sounds like it.
It turns out Rob's joined the Mile High Club and had sex on a balcony.
Yeah.
And Carl collects stamps.
Yeah.
I'm going to get shot by our listeners if I don't mention one particular thing. Because a few people have tweeted me asking why there's no dictaphone in this series. Or indeed, I didn't mention a dictaphone when Warren got dick to eye. So there's a tenuous link there. But yeah, thought I'd mention it. Pros and cons. I mean, the concept, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bruce, brilliant addition.
Yeah.
Could be improved upon. The music, the soundtrack, we will not call that into question because it was amazing to listen to.
The games are okay. There needs to be something that differentiates the people.
Yeah, it's good having the games, but like you say, they should always be a bit more scary. It should be almost Buried Alive or more Saw type. Or you can't go too far, but let's be honest, I'm a Celebrity does a better job of coming up with. And there have been better immunity challenges in other series in the past. So I think that, yeah, maybe it's a bit too game showy when they do their... Is it not a bit like, what was that? It's a Knockout or whatever it was called. It feels a bit like that when they do the challenges. I wish it was a bit more rough and ready. Or I particularly like the one where they had to put their hands into like animal, boxes with their animals in. And also the eating and drinking challenges, I didn't mind. But the ones where it's just on pedalos and things like that, or on
but it's more
paddle boards and things.
But then it's more like a camp game, isn't it?
No, that's a really good point.
Or they should do them like you said with Fogel at the start, where it's a summer camp game, but then something happens.
Something goes wrong. Yeah. It needs to be a bit more scary, I think. And there was a bit too much slow-mo. And also, let's not forget the dick rocket, because that could have probably been improved a little bit.
What? A more realistic dick? Is what you're saying?
Yes, smaller, please.
Yeah. A lot smaller. Girth and length.
But other than that, I don't have anything more to say about Killer Camp other than I am looking forward to watching season 2. I think we timed it poorly in that I wish we'd done this earlier in the year and then we'd been able to watch season 2 as it came out, because it's on right now. I think it's up to episode 5 tonight, and it just makes me want... There's so much on Twitter that I've muted Killer Camp on Twitter and Instagram, because I started by following them when we started following season 1, and then got to a point where it started flooding in. I'm thinking it's going to be
it's going to get ruined. Yeah.
And I think there is still a risk that it might, because so many people who listen to this are listening to or are currently watching season 2. But credit to Scott and to Michael Harmston. I say Harmston, it's Harmston. I'm just crap at pronouncing names. But anyway, both of them are watching it but haven't revealed the killer. So pretty pleased that I've avoided it so far.
Which means we need a hammer through it.
Thank you, guys. We need to start recording season 2 now, I think. Yeah. But no, look, what I'm going to do is there's not going to be a huge outro to this either, but we will be releasing this episode will be available at end of December or around Christmas time, 21st of December, 20th of December or something like that, I think. And there'll be a Christmas special in between Christmas and New Year. Haven't decided on a day yet, but I'm really looking forward to bringing Jam Presents The Christmas Party, or Jam Presents Unwrapped, or Jam Presents Jason Talk Shit for 2 hours. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but we're just going to reflect on the year, because what a year it's been. I think this is episode 40 something, 40, 41, whatever it is. So who'd have thought when we started putting these out back in February that we'd get to this point? But we'll reflect more on that in the next episode anyway, where we talk shit for a little bit. Unscripted, unedited, and undressed.
Censored. Too hot for TV.
And that's why we weren't chosen for Murder Island. Right, until next time. If you're still with us, well, what can I say? Thanks for listening. Not only have you endured 5 episodes of Killer Camp, you may well have had to sit through 41 episodes of Jam Presents throughout 2021 as well. We'll be back soon for a wrap-up episode of everything 2021. Until then, look out for any low-flying dick rockets.